All right, yeah, I used to do the countdown, but we ain't got time for a countdown anymore. So, all right, yep, it is Monday, and we are not live at 9:45.
Close.
Uh,
Pretty
yeah,
close
a
to it,
little
I think. Yeah.
closer than usual, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, thank you everyone for watching, listening, whatever. This is Mind Your Effing Business. I am Mike. Joined with me, as always, is Seth, and then today, Scott R. McKinley will be joining us to go through our Christmas classics, our favorite Christmas movies.
Yes.
I want to thank everyone who voted in the Facebook group because we are going to completely ignore that and do our
We
own
are?
thing.
I thought we should take a quick look at it just to see which ones piled in or
I did,
just to make fun of some of the scattershot ones.
and it was like every single person voted for their own individual one, and then it's like Home Alone pretty much ran away with it. Yeah, that's how it goes. Let me see if
Well,
I
we're
can
we're
bring it up
doing
now.
favorites, right?
We're doing favorites.
Okay.
Yes.
So it'll be a little harder for me to take you guys down and show you why you're wrong on your favorites and why
yeah.
mine are actually the
See,
correct
that's why
Christmas movies to actually love and cherish.
that's why doing a Christmas movie tournament with you involved, I feel like wasn't really gonna do it because your taste is gonna be so much more different than ours. I was looking.
Better.
Let me try to
The word you were
better.
looking for is better there.
Yeah, okay. I can't wait for you to list yours and us to go like what? I've never seen that one before.
Oh, no. I think you'll find mine are actually pretty good. Now, my honorable
Let me
mentions,
see.
you might be, maybe you should return to a film school or something or a
See,
class.
I've looked at the list here. Let me just start with the ones. Oh yeah, it does show here. The ones that you've added. The original Miracle on 34th Street. Okay. It's a
Well,
wonderful
nobody would vote for the remake. Did
no,
anybody vote for the remake with Richard Attenborough?
did you add that one too?
I don't even think I saw that one.
I did
Yeah.
not. It was that
Okay.
pitiful, and Macy's isn't even listed in there. They made up, or no, they
Oh,
used a
really?
competitor, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But it was pretty
So,
sad.
It's a Wonderful Life. Okay, that one's expected, but again, you and one other person. Holiday in Handcuffs from Melissa Joan
Oh,
Hart,
there you go.
added by you, only person to vote for it, you. An
It was
American
sort of an outlier, wasn't it?
an American Christmas Carol with Henry Winkler, added by
Yes.
you, only person
Yep.
to vote for it, you.
That's a pity. We'll talk about that.
A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott, A Christmas Carol with Patrick Stewart, A Christmas Carol with Alistair Sims.
Yes.
Yeah, Scrooge with Albert Finney. You. You're the only person to add these and vote for them.
You got to be kidding me. I
Yeah.
stand alone. Well, at least somebody at least voted for It's a Wonderful Life. Besides me.
You. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had you had one other person, who had kind of had the similar taste as yourself. And let's see. So yeah, so A Muppet Christmas Carol got a couple of votes, which I heard is very good, and I haven't had a chance to watch it. I want to watch it
Whoa.
with my kids, but they don't have any interest in it.
They don't want to
Um,
watch that?
I want to watch it, but
No,
they're
they
not nuts
should.
about it. I know they should. If I put it on, they'll watch
You
it.
have
I'm
little
sure.
kids who aren't interested in, I don't know, Sesame Street?
They used to be. My son used to be, but now they're almost like already outgrown of it. And my daughter's like, she likes it, but she wants to watch other stuff. Like, I swear to God, if I watch another episode, if you give a mouse a cookie, I'm gonna snap. It was just on right now again.
What is that?
It's a new cartoon. It's based off a book series, and it's an
Yes,
Amazon
which is
cartoon.
very
called
good
If You Give
book.
a Mouse, very very catchy theme song by Lisa Loeb. But man, my son used to love it too, and now he's like, "Come on, we always watch Mouse." And it's my daughter. Can you put on If You Give a Mouse a Cookie every single time? That's all she wants to watch.
Is there multiple episodes or?
Yeah, there's like maybe
Oh,
10
so
10 episodes of it. Yeah, it's a series. Oh yeah, there's a Christmas special, there's a Halloween special.
Do they up the game? They go to Fig Newtons or something? Or
They go to
do
what?
you give the mouse a Fig Newton?
No.
Yeah.
There's If You Give a Mouse a Pumpkin. And I actually have the book for If You Give a Mouse a Brownie. So it's a popular, like Pete the Cat. Amazon made a Pete the Cat book series or a cartoon series, which is based on the Pete the Cat books, which are okay.
There's no If You Give a Mouse a Pizza?
There might be. That's a good one. So Home Alone was up there. Christmas Vacation was kind of up there. Rudolph was up there. Christmas Chronicles was up there. Jingle All the Way was up there. Christmas Story was up there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So far, you've only singled out me. I don't see your names there listed.
Well, because I added all of them originally. It doesn't say my name because I created the poll. We've got, JJ Rogue.
I don't know which ones were added originally.
JJ Rogue added them up at Christmas Carol. Russell Wood added Santa Claus the movie. I like how people added movies and then didn't vote for it themselves. The Ref I thought about as a Christmas movie, but I don't know.
The Ref?
Who?
The Ref by Christina Capsoris added The Ref.
I don't know if I would count that as a Christmas movie, but that's a great movie.
That's a great
conversation we will be having, whether it counts as a Christmas movie.
Do you want to get that out of the way now, or do you want to wait until after we do our top 5?
We need to set the ground rules at the beginning here, I think. And so,
we can do that as we go through it. So as you pick yours, we can have a discussion about if it is or is not a Christmas movie. Because if Die Hard is on your list, Scott, I swear to God, you're in for it.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people who regard that as a Christmas movie, and I already said,
they're wrong.
Do we need to have this conversation first?
I guess, let's just go. Let's go with it.
Let's get this out. Is it a Christmas movie? No. Like ground rules. If you allow Home Alone, gotta allow Die Hard because neither of them are really Christmas movies. They're seasonally. What?
No, this is erroneous.
See, everyone. This is the thing with Home Alone. I know where you're going with this, and I know where our friend Joe, when Mike told me, you're missing the whole premise. To me, the main point of it is like bringing your family together and loving and being grateful for your family. Like when he sees, the neighbor that he was scared of, when he finally meets him in church, he talks about it. And he's like, "Oh, you should go see your son," blah, blah, blah. And then his family returns and he's excited to see his family. That's what it's about. Obviously, yes, he, goes after the wet bandits as well, but it's got like a good Christmas feel to it. Die Hard is about, Bruce Willis, killing people
all alone because he's yearning for somebody to share Christmas with. And there are some obstacles in the way of him meeting up with his true love by the end of the film.
You have to stretch that to make it fit. Home Alone is, it's very clear.
The only reason Die Hard is even in the conversation is because it takes place on Christmas Eve. I just watched it on Friday. So I just watched Die Hard 2 weeks ago to make sure, because it's been a long time since I've seen most of it. Let me refresh my memory. Let me make sure that I know what I'm talking about here. The beginning, Christmas music, everything's talking about Christmas party. That's probably the first maybe 15. This movie's 2 hours and 12 minutes long, which I didn't know about. It's long as hell. So maybe the first 20 minutes, Christmas. The next hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, nothing to do with Christmas outside of
those are the obstacles.
Outside of Now I Have a Machine Gun, ho ho ho, which takes place super early on.
Home Alone, it's people trying to kill the kid.
No. During Christmas,
after the Christmas scenes at the beginning of
they were going away for Christmas on a vacation.
There's snow, there's Christmas lights, there's gifts, there's decorating Christmas trees, there's Christmas music continuously through the whole movie. Not like a Christmas song in the beginning and then Christmas music during the credits. There's simply with Die Hard, there's not enough Christmas to constitute it as a Christmas movie. Batman Returns takes place on Christmas Eve. Is that a Christmas movie?
Nope.
Well, it depends who you ask. Now, if you go to the Rotten Tomato Top 100, they've got Batman Returns on that list.
Really? See,
yes, they do. And I was, I wouldn't have gone there, but enough people, I guess, did to make that list.
So two of the arguments I brought up the other day with Die Hard is everyone's seen the movie Rudy, right? Because everyone's argument with Die Hard.
The movie about Rudy Giuliani?
No, Rudy, the football player, Notre Dame football player with Sean Austin.
Yes.
He knows.
I do.
So he returns home during Christmas break, and he finds his ex-girlfriend is now dating his brother, and he like walks out, storms out. I'm like, is that a Christmas movie? Because it took place during Christmas,
Yeah.
And then the other thing, which I found was a key argument, because we looked up, if you look up movies that are legitimate Christmas movies, like the ones that are no doubt, like Elf or Home Alone or Santa Claus.
Listen to him sneaking Home Alone back in. I saw that.
Well, because it is. And if you look at when these movies were released, they are released for the Christmas season. Look up when Die Hard was released. It was released in July of 1988.
Wow, that's
a Christmas movie being released in the middle of summer?
You can ask that about Miracle on 34th Street, which came out in July of 1947, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But that's 1947.
It also bombed, by the way, because you don't release
of course
a Christmas
it
movie in July.
Yes. Exactly. But the Die Hard bomb.
I'm interested about that. Let me look at that. Let me because that's see, of course, if they're not going to come out in December, they're going to come out in July.
One of the things I was hoping to do is give a little bit of background about what makes a movie a Christmas movie, as far as tradition goes. And I can give you guys some insight into that you might not already have. From my own personal experience, not because I took a film class or because I read up on it before we were talking. This is just personal experience based on where I used to work. Excuse me. But one of the things I did want to do, which I think we will agree on, is where do we differentiate between Christmas movie and Christmas special? Or a short form. For instance, would you count Rudolph as a Christmas movie?
The old school, like clay cartoon one?
Yep.
See, I have that on my honorable mentions, so I don't know.
Me too. But I would constitute that.
What about Charlie Brown's Christmas? Is that a movie?
I think specials count.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have Frosty in my honorable mentions.
There's too many to go through if you're going to combine both lists, I think.
But I would say if they're a one and done deal, like Frosty, even though there was some sequels, but it's not like a Christmas episode of an ongoing TV show. That doesn't count. But an individual special like Rudolph, like Frosty, like a Charlie Brown's Christmas, that's not part of a continuous episodic television show.
So we're going to bring in Emmett Otter and the Jug Band's Christmas and Arthur's Christmas. Where do we draw the line here?
I don't know those, Scott. So we're not going to bring those in there in the first place. We don't have to worry about those because I don't even know what those are. They're not even part
one
of the
them's a Disney thing, and it's got its fans out there, and I've just offended probably quite a few people. So Wayne, if you're watching this, my apologies, sir. But
yeah, Miracle on when did you say Miracle on 34th Street was released?
1947.
What month?
Oh, I thought it came out in the spring or summer, like July of 1947.
It came out in June of 1947.
I'm sorry, I'm way off. Jeez.
See, now the remake.
Where is my memory? Oh my God.
The remake that came out in 94 came out November 18th.
Well, of course, they all come out at Christmas time these years.
Film School
back
Rejects.
In the day, that was not necessarily the case. But
now it was 1988 back in the day, because that's when Die Hard came out.
Well, yeah,
it is back in the day.
Unfortunately, that's back in the day.
But I feel like movies around that time, because that came out in 1988. Home Alone came out 2 years later. Home Alone came out in November.
Here's another one.
Well, yes, it's an outlier to come out in the middle of the year. And it's also almost never done. I keep trying to tell you that Miracle on 34th Street bombed. And one of the reasons it bombed was you don't release a Christmas movie in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
Well, of course. But did Die Hard bomb? I don't think it did.
No.
Because it's not a Christmas movie.
So Film School
I
Rejects.
see. You're using reverse logic there to say like the chicken came first before the egg did, which means it was never laid. So
this list I'm looking at from Film School Rejects has Lady and the Tramp on it. That came out in June. It has Trading Places on it.
I don't think anybody in their right mind would say that's a Christmas movie.
I don't even remember any Christmas in it at all. Trading Places is on this list. with Dan Aykroyd
Yes,
and
it
Eddie
is.
Murphy.
That's also on the Rotten Tomato list.
Yeah, which again, there was like one scene in there,
Maybe. I mean, let's at least narrow our thing to ones you could confuse with a Christmas movie. How about that?
Gremlins is
I
another one
know
that's on this
my
list.
son mentioned Gremlins.
Yeah, Gremlins on this list. I know Lethal
No,
Weapon
he didn't
is
vote for it, but he mentioned it.
Lethal Weapon is one that comes up in conversation.
It does.
Yeah, or is it Lethal Weapon
about
2?
Christmas?
Yeah. Is it the first one or the second one? Yeah, because it's just like Die Hard.
There's a difference.
See, you're laughing about Lethal Weapon, but yet it's just like Die Hard.
Yep.
It mentions Christmas once, and you're like, "Oh, it must be."
Well,
a Christmas
Lethal
movie.
Weapon is right now. For me, it's a blur. Actually, I guess you could say the same about Die. I don't think I've ever seen Die Hard 2. Although I did see for whatever reason they didn't call it Die Hardest, which was Die Hard with a Vengeance. I did see, and I regret those wasted minutes.
What? Die Hard with a Vengeance is so awesome.
Yeah.
It was a great trilogy that goes back to the sequel. Die Hard with a Vengeance was so good, man. Come on.
I barely remember it.
Here you go. Here's one of our friends chiming in. Thank you, Dave Gould. We all know Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. We just say it is to get under the skin of people that say it isn't.
Right.
Also, Die Hard. Wait. Also, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. What? No, you're wrong, Dave.
Oh, I see. You've cherry picked from the comments, maybe a little too quickly there.
There's only been one comment so far, so get out of here, Dave. So this list has
only one that you've revealed so far.
So this list is Christmas movies that were released not around Christmas time. So yeah, Die Hard, July of 88, Die Hard 2, July of 1990, Batman Returns, June of 1992, Eyes Wide Shut, Iron Man 3 is up there, Iron Man 3. People at Jurassic World is no Christmas movie. What the fuck?
Where is there even anything Christmas related?
Yeah, going back to a year earlier.
I don't know.
Jurassic World was set at Christmas too. You remember that being the case, right? The reboot sequel even opened to the tune of "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." It was the holiday break when Gray and Zach are off from school. See, nobody thinks of that. Not a Christmas movie.
No shot.
So, Die Hard, I believe, and just being honest here, I think people just do that because we need a dad Christmas movie. One of those like action things. I know my own father would put on any action movie, and if you said it was a Christmas movie, bang, he'd be right into there, and he'd be like, yeah, let's watch that instead of whatever football game is going on or whatever parade is going on. Or
what's the movie with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg? That's not the other guys. Is it Daddy's Home?
Daddy's Home, yeah.
Daddy's Home 2 takes place at Christmas with their dad.
It's a sequel?
Yeah, there's a sequel. It's very funny. Very funny. Yeah, so that one, I mean, I would consider that a Christmas movie, I guess, because it takes place at Christmas, has a lot to do with Christmas.
I don't know. I think we're getting off topic a little bit.
See, we definitely.
I'm just saying that I think we should restrict the. Oh dear.
We definitely know Dave is crazy.
Yeah. I told you about the Emmett Otter thing, and you weren't listening to me.
Dave said
I've just
also
offended half of the population of Disneyland.
Also, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is an underappreciated classic. I had a feeling that's what it was. Some kind of old school Disney movie. Doesn't ring a bell.
Special,
not a fan.
Special, not a movie. Again, I'm trying to say we need to
see, but I would accept that as part of a favorite because again, if it's a one and done type deal, it's acceptable. Like you're gonna tell me that Rudolph is not a Christmas classic.
So you're gonna say like the Christmas episode of The Odd Couple is a Christmas favorite?
No, because that goes back to what I just said about it's part of an episodic television series. Okay. So a Christmas episode, like
episodic, nice.
Yeah, I mean, there is a Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special that I love, but I wouldn't count that because it's just a Christmas special of a regular TV show.
Okay.
I watched the Christmas episode of what the hell?
And so you're eliminating all of the Doctor Who Christmas specials and Star Wars.
Those wouldn't count. Star Wars special. Nobody wants to talk about that Star Wars Christmas special.
No, nobody wants to.
Even though there's a Lego holiday special, that's okay. See,
Lego.
Yeah, really? But the Guardians of the Galaxy
it might have been funny.
Holiday special was fantastic. Would I include that? If I'm including the Star Wars, I would include the Star Wars one.
Yeah, but then you're not going to find any favorites. You'll just find ironic.
I know.
Favorites.
I mean, I don't even know why we're talking about this.
It's not even in circulation.
Because that's
It's
nobody's
only
favorite.
on the bootleg market somewhere on, selected YouTube things.
Oh yeah,
Before
they take it down on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime it's up on YouTube, they're like, "Nope, get this out of here."
Yep.
Yeah. So
Lucasfilms.
The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special was fantastic. I mean, I would almost include it just because it's so good, but it does kind of fall in the line of the Star Wars special. It's the same as the Star Wars special, where there's other stuff of it about it, so it's not its own thing, just for Christmas, So I would not count it.
Well, I would also say if we're going to say best movie, maybe we should disallow things that weren't released in theaters.
What? No.
Good. Because I have a few on my list that weren't released in theaters.
I think a lot of this is going to be irrelevant because all these things we're bringing up are not going to be on any of our lists, and it's really not anything for us to be arguing about now because it's not going to be a problem. But again, that also takes
the reason
away
I'm mentioning this is now we're going up against some other competition. So there is a podcast out there called We Got This, which has been on the Maximum Fun network of podcasts since 2015. And they covered Best Christmas Movie as well as Best Christmas Special. And then they went on, I think, later to do Best Christmas Carol and Best Christmas. Is It a Christmas Movie was one of the later ones that they did.
Okay, Is It a Christmas Movie is a good conversation. But yes. I think we should go through our
they
top
had to
5.
cover it in all than one, but they're the ones who try to settle the endless debates of mustard or hot dog on mustard or ketchup on a hot dog.
All right, let's go through our top 5. We'll discuss each one as we get to it. We'll start with number 5. Scott, why don't you go first?
All right. My number 5 is actually Scrooge. 1969, I think, maybe 1972, I can't remember, with Albert Finney. It's a musical. Was released in movies, in theaters as a musical. It was one of the very last full-scale, full-cast British-style musicals in the tradition of Oliver.
They just released a new Scrooge cartoon on Netflix, which is okay, but honestly,
my kids were watching it the other day.
Yeah, I tried putting it on for my kids the other day. They didn't want to stick with it.
Is there anything special about the new one?
Just that it's modern and it's a cartoon.
No famous voices, no famous artistic style of it.
I don't know. Didn't look that much into it. Just saw it was on there and it's a cartoon. Put it on for my kids.
Wow, there's the dad in action.
It's not necessary. It's here. Watch this and be quiet for a little while. Yeah, it's Christmas, so here's a Christmas cartoon.
Is Crystal watching this?
Probably. She was right there too. She gets it. Oh, she gets it. Yeah, just watch TV for a little bit.
Well, because there are other Christmas carols on cartoon version too.
There's
100.
We could do a whole.
And I could
podcast.
even have you narrow down the list to favorite cartoon versions of Christmas Carol.
We could do a whole podcast just on the amount of Christmas carols there are, because there's so many of them. Which again, so let's keep going. That's
my
with the
vote
list
for number 5. Is my version, which is Scrooge, which is a musical. It's got Albert Finney in it, and a couple of other British actors, including Sir Alec Guinness.
Okay.
Obi-Wan Kenobi in this as well as the Star Wars one.
That's right. I knew that name sounded
familiar. So now you're So maybe you're rethinking it. And in this one, unlike the other ones, the Ghost of Christmas Future shows Scrooge in hell. Yes, he goes the extra mile and puts Scrooge in hell. And in a nice twist, Scrooge's little office there is the only place in hell where it's chilly. Everything's frozen solid. Remember, because he refuses to put enough coal there to warm up poor Bob Cratchit.
So playing off of that, all right, I'm gonna go next because my number 5 is playing off of that. I have Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Okay,
there we go.
Okay.
When Scott first said Scrooge, I was hoping he added the D at the end. Then
I
know
that's in my honorable mention list.
Okay.
Right.
I'm giving Mr. Bill Murray his due.
So that's my
there's
number
some
5.
Other good.
Because I watched that just the other day. It's different. It's fun. It's a modern take on the same story you've seen 1,000 times. Yeah. So Scrooged is my number 5 because again, it's funny. It's mature. It's entertaining, but yet it's still obviously Christmas classic, because it's Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, but a new spin on it, not a retelling of the same thing for the 100th time.
And
there you go.
If I might add, did any of you consider A Very Murray Christmas?
Never watched it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah,
Bill
it's on
Murray
Netflix.
did another Christmas special. It didn't start on Netflix, did it?
I think it did.
It started on HBO or Showtime or something, but
I thought it was Netflix.
Maybe it was
a couple years ago. I think George Clooney's in it and all kinds of people are in it. I never saw it though.
Better than I was expecting. Not great.
Okay.
Better than I was expecting. Certainly not Scrooged.
Mm-hmm.
Scrooged, which was quite good.
Yes. I thought. Oh yeah.
All right, Seth. So what's your number 5?
All right. So I feel so basic now with my list, but number 5 for me, and there's a lot of nostalgia in it. That's why I made it number 5.
It's a favorite. It's not a best. Yes.
Is Home Alone 2.
Wow.
I just love the whole, basically FAO Schwartz, whatever, was named in that movie. I forget.
Duncan's Toy Chest.
Duncan's, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Love the whole, cities decked out and Christmas stuff.
I was thinking about it today. I almost like 2. Like, on my list, I would have put 2 before 1.
Oh, yeah?
Because I loved New York City being a part of it. I mean, as a kid, that was the greatest.
Yeah.
Now, you love New York City around the holidays anyway. And then again, you got Duncan's Toy Chest and hanging out in the Plaza Hotel. And he's got the cabinet full of cookies and junk food, and it's great. Yeah. 2, make it 3. I'm not driving.
And then the what was the Talk Boy, right? What was it called?
Oh yeah, I had one of those. Yeah, it was a Talk Boy.
Like that was
Which
awesome.
movie was the Donald in? Was he in 2?
He was in 2. He was in the lobby of the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That was how they got to film there for free or something by agreeing to put him in the movie. Yep. Yeah, I would almost put 2 in front of 1 for me because it was that much better. Not that much better, but like I liked it so much more because of all that kind of stuff. Because it was New York City too, I mean, I love New York City and knew all that.
Your 5th all-time favorite is a sequel to a movie that isn't even a Christmas movie.
Scott, that's a.
I'm ruining his child in here. I'm so ashamed of myself.
I don't get how the conversation even comes up. Like how Die Hard and Home Alone are together. Like
I don't get that either.
There's no question at all.
What's funny is you said that earlier or yesterday. Whenever we were talking about our friend Joe that said that.
Yeah.
You mentioned. I was like, I never heard. And then Scott says it too. It's like
because that makes sense.
You allow one, you allow the other. If otherwise, you don't allow either.
The other argument I went with the whole is it a Christmas movie or not? If you look at the box of the DVD or the VHS. That tells a lot too. Die Hard, no sign of Christmas whatsoever.
Nope.
Home Alone on the
think about this. Home Alone is it is Christmas as far as being a commercial for toys goes.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
I should also mention for kindness' sake, I've never seen Home Alone 2.
Oh.
I think I've seen clips. I did.
But you seen the first one, okay?
Yes, most of it.
Most of it. See, man, your list is going to be off the walls. You're not going to have a single movie that we have on our list.
I don't think that's going to be the case. Right now, we're into number 5s.
Well, let's see now.
And I am surprised that a sequel made your top 5, but. It's favorites, so I'm not going to.
We've done our number 5s. So what's your number 4?
My number 4?
Yeah,
my number 4 is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Oh,
okay,
there we go.
That's Seth's number 1. So yeah, I mean it's a classic.
Alert.
It's not even in my top 5.
Oh my God!
Oh, come on!
It's not in your top 5.
It's not in my
your
top
kids
5.
aren't old enough yet for it to be in your top 5.
No, I mean I like it a lot. But there's just other Christmas movies that I like better.
I mean,
but
dude, that is
it was original and fresh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't done to death like A Christmas Carol, which I picked as number 5 there. So obviously I do appreciate something that has a nice different take on it. And I will say this about Home Alone. Same thing. It's not just another retelling of something that's just, been there, done that kind of thing. It's one of the reasons why some of the other stuff isn't on my top 5 list, if only because it's just been either done to death or seen to death, or was never that great in my mind to begin with.
Yeah.
But I'll make exceptions though if it's a favorite of like, well, I'm just so nostalgic for it, because if there's ever a time to be nostalgic, it probably is the holidays, or it's the time to be most depressed. It depends on your childhood, I would guess.
Maybe for me that might be like number 6,
which is sad
because it is. It's a obviously undoubtedly a Christmas movie. It's a very popular Christmas movie. It's good. It's fun. I really liked it. But yeah, there's just others that are just resonate more with me. Maybe because I didn't watch it a ton. There's other ones that I'd seen a bunch of times that I just enjoy more. The Santa Claus I hadn't seen enough times. That just it didn't get burned in my head like so many other ones. So my number 4, I have.
What was the main character's first name again?
Scott Calvin.
Scott, that's right.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You knew that too. Setting us up. So my number 4, I have Christmas Vacation. I've already watched that twice so far this year. Love Christmas Vacation. It's funny. It's different. It's undoubtedly a Christmas movie.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. It's right there in the title of it too. So if you weren't sure, they certainly call your attention to it. I got to say, it's not on my top 5. It is on my honorable mentions. I do think it's funny, and I do think it's still funny.
Oh, absolutely.
After watching it numerous times. And I keep forgetting just how funny Julia Louis-Dreyfus as the neighbor and the
oh yeah,
the cat.
Because there's so many more. There's so many classic lines to it. So many one-liners. The older you get, the more you watch it. The funnier you pick up on different funny things every time you watch it. The older you get with the more mature jokes. Yeah, I love it. All right, so Seth, what's your number 4?
It was nice to see Randy Quaid, one of his last things before he went off the wall.
Did you know that Randy Quaid stars in Christmas Vacation 2?
I heard there was a Christmas Vacation 2, but haven't seen it or heard anything past that.
It's like Cousin
When
Eddie's...
did it come out?
Let me see. It's like Cousin Eddie's Fantasy Island or something like that.
I think I saw parts of it.
How was it?
It was a straight to DVD.
Well, that's what happened to it, but how was it? Did you see it?
Or? Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. IMDb currently has it rated at 2.7 out of 10.
Ooh.
I did not see it.
Anybody else in it besides Randy Quaid?
Ed Asner.
Ed Asner. Would he play Santa Claus again?
I don't know. That's a good question. If Ed Asner played Santa Claus, what other movie did he play Santa Claus in?
Come on. I know it.
I know it. You don't know it? He played Santa Claus in Elf.
Yes.
He was also the voice of J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh, which cartoon? There are many different Spider-Man cartoons.
The 90s one.
Okay, not the 60s one that I'm most familiar with.
Yep. R.I.P.
Or not most familiar.
Ed Asner. Fred Willard is in it. And let's see. Stephen Furst is in it. You know who Stephen Furst is?
I know the name. I don't remember.
He played Otter in Animal House.
Jeez. Oh. It has been so long since I've seen Animal House.
What? This can't be real. Okay, what? I got to watch this. Daryl Hannah, who was...
When did it come out? What year?
2003.
Oh, so
all right. So you had some people who were It's the people who were kind of hurting at that point. Famke Jensen. So Daryl Hannah, she was in Kill Bill and Kill Bill 2. She played Jack Lemmon's daughter in Grumpier Old Men.
Well, I know who Daryl Hannah is.
She was a mermaid in Splash. I'm explaining it for Seth because he doesn't know.
No, yeah, I know who she is.
Okay. Famke Jensen
Mike
was in it. I just took a guess. Famke Jensen, who was Jean Grey in the X-Men movies. She was in Rounders. Tom Berenger was in it.
Probably a cameo.
Maybe. I don't know. That's pretty wild.
Or did he play himself?
I don't know. Because some of them don't even have names.
He played himself on the Muppets.
Yeah, he played Jake Taylor from the Cleveland Indians. All right. So, what were we at?
You just gave your.
I just gave my number 4. I just did. Yeah, my 4 was Christmas Vacation. Oh, so what's your number 4, Seth?
My number 4 is the Grinch Who Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey.
The more I've watched it,
the more I watched it, the more I like it.
The more, yeah, but I still don't. I don't like the love story between him and the one woman, and the Grinch is a kid and he was picked on. They make him like a sympathetic character.
Yeah,
I didn't like.
Yeah, it's like the original book is perfect. The original cartoon is an extended version of the original book, but still pretty perfect. But that.
Yeah,
I just think Jim Carrey did a great job.
Long enough, and Jim Carrey looked fine, did good,
but shitloads of makeup, wasn't
long.
4 hours a day.
The Who's from Whoville? I'm sorry, but they look like burn victims.
Yeah, you know what? That's another thing too.
And
it was tough
you can't unsee it once you think of that.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
It's tough to take yourself out of that. All of them with those noses and stuff. Yeah,
it's just like, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you want? What do you want them to look like?
As a drawing, they worked fine, but
normal
as that,
people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, but they're not normal people.
I know they're Who's.
They're Who's. Yes.
Yeah,
it just didn't work. Well, what about the newer one?
Well, that's in my honorable mention. I like that one. My kids.
I haven't
like that.
seen it. I didn't even remember that they did a newer one.
I just watched it before we came on air.
Oh,
now that one's extended too, right?
No, it's not too long.
Well, I mean, as opposed to the original animated one.
Oh yeah, the original animated one's what, like 30 minutes?
Yeah, like it's a
special. This is a full blown movie.
Oh yeah, it's like an hour and a half movie. Yeah. So I haven't watched the whole thing. Not yet. I think my kids watched it and I didn't pay attention to it. I haven't watched the whole thing of it.
Yeah,
but
it's good.
Looks good.
Oh yeah, really good.
All right, Scott, what is your
Benedict Cumberbatch is in it. Who does he do the voice of in the newer Grinch?
I don't know.
Would he wouldn't. I mean, who else would he?
I'm
be?
not
sure.
Oh,
you know what? I think he is the Grinch.
Yeah, who else? Yeah, he would have to be the Grinch, I would think.
Yes, now that I hear the Grinch's voice in my head, it's definitely him.
Huh. Well, I heard he did a good job as Smaug the dragon in The Hobbit.
He did. You didn't see it?
I haven't seen that part of it yet.
Oh man.
Well, I've been hoarding it. Unfortunately, I tend to do this with things I've been looking forward to seeing when I know that there's like just precious little left to watch that's new, and it's like, oh, so I haven't finished watching The Hobbit yet, but yes, and I'm also waiting to get a good Blu-ray copy of that, the whole thing. I want a matching set of both the Lord of the Rings.
They're all on Amazon. Just stream them.
You want all the extras. The original DVD box set, the extended version, had 8 hours of extra per film. It was like amazing.
Or the Lord of the Rings movies, the extended.
What am I
4
asking?
hours
I'm
apiece.
just asking them to bump it up to Blu-ray. That's all. And please show it in good Blu-ray.
They must have by now. Are you kidding me?
There are so many different box sets, and half of them are like, well, this one's available, but beware, there are bootlegs from Spain or their region, like are for England or something like that, and trying to find you look at the reviews in Amazon, you're like, well, this one came in the box set, fell apart, and so.
And yes, Benedict Cumberbatch plays the Grinch.
There you go. Okay.
All right, so Scott, what is your number 3?
Number 3, Elf.
All right, Scott. Also,
believe it or not,
mute your. You're watching us on Facebook as well.
I wasn't.
Because I'm hearing the echo when we talk loud enough. And I thought I did before, but I didn't. But when we talk loud enough, I hear it.
No, I shouldn't have it on there, to be honest with you.
Seth, you have any other tabs open? You're watching us on Facebook too, or?
Nope.
Give me a second. Move tab to separate window, close all other tabs. And bring us back up. So
okay. Yep, I still hear it.
Oh, well, then I'm not quite sure what it's about. What?
Do I hear it now? No, I don't. Now it's gone. Okay. So, all right, Elf is your number 3.
Yes, Elf is number 3.
Mine as well.
It's
wow. So is mine.
Ah,
look at that. Clean
slide
for
third.
Wow.
Where it's good. It's actually very good.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it's just routine now. That's another one I watched multiple times throughout the year. I probably watched 2-3 times already this year. My wife loves it. I think it's my wife's favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I remember when it first came out.
I just watched it the other day.
Yeah. It was drop dead funny when it first came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so unexpectedly funny. It worked and it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And then when you watched it in depth, you're like, you know what? More than that, it really worked.
Yeah. Yeah, like I thought this would be enjoyable, but I didn't think it was going to be so funny.
Collage of an homage to the original Rudolph with
I love that.
The original Rudolph has Burl Ives playing the snowman. So who does Elf have?
It's Burl Ives.
Leon Redbone playing the snowman.
Oh, I don't know. Then I don't know who either one of those guys are. Why? How are they related? Or how are they similar?
Well, they're both musical stars, but of different generations.
Okay.
Leon Redbone just passed away 1 or 2 years ago, but
see, I thought because he gets him, he's like
cool.
Okay. He sees him and he's running through the snow and he's like, "Hey, Leon." I thought Leon was the name of the snowman from Rudolph, but it's not. His name is something different in Rudolph because they couldn't use the same exact type of animation.
Really?
I forget.
Read about this.
I forget who I was listening to that they explained the whole story about it. But yeah, when he sees him, he's like, "Hey, Leon, how you doing, partner?" It's the same exact thing, the Arctic puppets and everything. Yeah. Elf is amazing how much of an immediate Christmas classic that became, and it's so funny.
And I remember talking to you about this back at our office when it first came out, and I said one of the most wonderful things about it was that Bob Newhart is in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, "Who's that?"
What? You're so full of shit. I know who Bob Newhart is.
You do now, but not when the movie came out.
I absolutely knew who Bob Newhart was when the movie came out. I remember this conversation. We were downstairs in one of the teaching rooms. I remember it was the one we didn't use all the time. I remember this conversation. I remember talking about Bob Newhart.
Okay.
I don't remember the exacts of the conversation, but I misunderstood the question. I absolutely know who Bob Newhart is.
Well, I know he shows up on Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And I thought that's where you knew him from.
No, I knew him from the Bob Newhart show with Daryl is my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl.
Well, actually, that's called Newhart. The Bob Newhart show was the one from the 70s with Suzanne Pleshette.
Oh, okay.
That's where I knew him from.
So
originally.
I knew him from Newhart. Wasn't he a comic book artist on Newhart as well?
No, that was Bob. So he did the Bob Newhart show, he did Newhart, and then he did Bob.
I only remember that I never watched it a lot, but I knew it was on.
I like that one, but it got canceled kind of quickly. Yeah. But the co-stars were pretty good on the Bob.
Yeah.
And then the last one he did was Leon and something with Judd Hirsch from Taxi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Judd Hirsch.
Yeah. James Caan, fantastic in that movie.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, Ed Asner.
And James Caan hadn't really been in films for a long time before that.
And he always plays such a hard ass, so it's like it was a perfect role for him.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, and when he starts singing and the clausometer just cranks up and Santa takes off because the Christmas spirits it's fantastic.
Right. Give me just a second. Hey, Dave Gould, if you're still watching us live, why don't you just he's not?
No. We have 0 viewers right now.
Jeez.
I was going to at some point. I was going to try to.
I was going to have him just, text a couple of our other friends who might have been aware of these conversations back at the office in the day, but no, they're not watching. Not even our other cube nerd, Bert, evidently.
Yeah, no. Well, Bert does. He'll listen to it he'll listen to the podcast later. I mean, I share it on Facebook, and sometimes we get a lot of viewers. Sometimes you don't. Shit happens. I get it.
I shared it on Twitter, but
I shared it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Seth, where'd you share it?
And Instagram.
Yeah,
and with a couple of voiceover people too.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What was that? You didn't share?
Yeah.
No, I'm a scroll through social media guy and like things and tag people. I wouldn't even know how to share it. I guess I could just copy the link, right? And
there's a
well, you don't share it. You create a new one to share, and then you just copy the link. You put it in there and just say like, "Hey, special episode tonight. Not our new normal fare. Got a first time guest, unless you've had other people."
I'm pretty sure I've created a monster.
Is this your first guest? Am I your first guest?
Yes, you are.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've created a monster when it comes to Scott and podcasting. Because he's so into it. I was like, oh, are we doing this? Let's do this. When is it happening? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? What about tonight? What's going on?
Yeah. Because it's the holidays. If we don't do this now, nobody's going to watch this in January. I'm like, all right, I'll watch it next year if I remember. Because
it needed to be done. And that's why I thought if we did a tournament, it would just 1-1, it wouldn't be the same. You'd have to have a third voice in there to kind of break the tie.
So Seth can break us up when we start arguing about the finer points when we get to the number 1 spot. But otherwise, Elf, yes. And you forgot about Zooey Deschanel.
Yes, who's great in it as well.
Absolutely.
Faison Love, Artie Lang, even in it, and very funny as well. Artie Lang plays the guy who comes in as Santa Claus.
Oh,
he's Gimbel's Santa Claus.
Yeah. What's he telling me smells like? Cheese?
Cheese. Yeah. Beef and cheese?
Yeah.
You smell like beef and cheese. He's like, oh, yeah? How would you like to be dead? You sit on a throne of lies.
Oh, that's one of my favorite gifts to send someone. Like when we're texting and someone's bullshitting or something, I'll send that.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Oh, even my wife enjoyed it just because Farrell he just allows himself to just go up and over.
Oh, and
he's all in. He's just all in.
Oh, everything.
From glugging as much of that soda as he could drink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But of the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Eating all the spaghetti.
Oh, yeah, with the Pop-Tarts he's mixing into it, everything. Every line is fantastic.
Santa!
Yeah. Oh, I got to go, my dad. Oh, I forgot to give you a hug. Everything is so funny in that. Yeah, his delivery.
He's looking for gum under.
Yep. Everything. It's so funny. World's best cup of coffee. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. What?
Yep. Yeah. Elf is
just
Elf
Ed
is
Asner as Santa, giving him the tip about the real Ray's Pizza.
Yeah. The real one's on 11th. Yeah.
And here's a quick little anecdote. Where I really am into the Beatles quite a lot, right?
I'm aware.
Yeah, I'm aware. Listen to him. You like, don't turn that switch on. The very first time I ever went to Beatle Fest, or the Fest for Beatle fans, as it's called, in Secaucus, New Jersey, back in the day, they had a special guest, Sid Bernstein, who basically hosted the Beatles' first concert in the United States, and before he started talking about that, he had to immediately clarify, by the way, Ray's Pizza in New York, the real one is this. I can't remember the address, but he thought that was more important than anything else that he had to say, just to mention that right off the top.
So he didn't say the real one's on 11th, like Santa says?
He might have. I don't remember.
They all claim to be.
But I do remember that after hearing that, the next time I went to New York, I did notice that there were a variety of different Ray's pizzas. And they all claimed to be the original.
I don't think Ed Asner was that great of a Santa Claus in that movie.
Why?
He's a little too rough around the edges.
Yeah, he wasn't jolly enough.
Yeah, he's not. He gets cranky, like when Buddy first comes out of his sack. He's like, "What the Sam hell?" And they're like, "But Santa's a pushover for babies." Like, really? Because it looked like he was pretty pissed off that this baby just crawled out of his bag.
Yeah.
we should talk about the Santa Claus on Rudolph. What the hell was his problem?
He was kind of a dick too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
absolutely.
he starts off
all
like a real
of them
prick.
were, and not to mention that gym teacher. Oh my God!
Oh yeah,
talk about the typical gym teacher that would terrorize you as a child.
Who's the gym teacher? Blitzen? Because Donner.
We're not going to let him play any reindeer games. Right.
Donner is Rudolph's dad. Yeah. Oh yeah. Santa comes in. He's like, "Whoa, you better cover that shit up if you think he's gonna be on my team one day." Like, oh, until
he had such a good takeoff too.
Yeah, until like, oh, I need that nose. Never mind, Rudolph, you're such a good boy. I need you to leave. But he'd be like, fuck you, Santa. Don't come around now. Yeah, fucking selfish fat bastard. Actually, he wasn't even fat at first. He starts out skinny and then he fattens up.
Santa.
Yeah. Yeah, but then he's like,
it's strange thing.
It's funny.
I want to be a dentist, you know.
Yeah, no. But he turns around. He's got the tire iron. Hey, back off, Slick. Like, oh, Santa, relax.
Yeah.
There's the one scene where he goes to Michael. He's like, so you're the real Santa Claus? And he goes, you never can tell, kid. Tell me, Michael, what do you want for Christmas? Like, in that line was delivered very well. Where you're like, okay, that's very Santa. Tell me, Michael, what do you want for Christmas? Now he sounds like Santa. He acts like Santa. Like that, that was it. But yeah, when he's like letting Buddy go, and he's doing all the stuff about, the real one's on 11th, and it's not free candy. It just, he's a little cranky.
Yeah.
Well, imagine being like Buddy's foster Santa. It's. I'm sure that was a little trying at times.
How about Scott? Did you know that? I mean, maybe it was the hell's his name now? I'm drawing a blank. But Ralphie from A Christmas Story plays the head elf in Elf.
I did not know that.
Seth just learned this recently. I knew that. Yeah. What the hell's his name? Peter Billingsley.
Oh. And of course, Peter Billingsley is in the new Christmas Story,
which I have not watched yet.
I have not watched it either. Oh, I was hoping one of you had. So
no, I haven't.
Wouldn't look stupid for
because I feel like my kids are not going to be into it. So I haven't watched it yet. So all right, we all did our number 3. Scott, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is A Christmas Story.
Okay, I got a nice little segue there,
and it's a very nice little segue. And I'll tell you a little bit about it too. The the movie itself is based on the works of Gene Shepard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was a kid, Gene Shepard was on the radio live with a radio show, which we got in the New York area, WOR. And at least I think it was WR that he was on. And he had this odd evening show where he would just talk off the cuff about any subject. I'm sure he had notes of some kind, but it was fascinating stuff. And his material for the movie A Christmas Story came from his radio show, which had started in the 1950s.
Mm.
And went in through the 60s and the 70s, and also were short stories that he'd written. So the original stories from A Christmas Story were published in a book called In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash by Gene Shepard. For a time, he was also a host for New Jersey's PBS. And then he moved down.
And that's not the same guy that does the narration.
It is the same guy that does the narration.
Oh, okay. And why do I still hear an echo?
I hear it too. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's one of you.
I mean, I don't have any windows open.
I see a little bead of sweat going down.
You know what? You know what I wonder if it is? It's us being loud in Seth's headphones, and his microphone is picking up on it.
Could be.
Seth, I'm buying you some fucking top of the line podcasting equipment.
Look,
for Christmas.
These are JBL headphones.
Yeah. Okay.
And his microphone's down here.
I mean,
what does JBL stand for?
I don't know. It's a top of the line.
Yeah, I know JBL is top quality stuff. I'm just saying.
Well, you recommended this thing, and it doesn't work.
And that's what I'm using.
Well, what would you like me to do?
I don't know. I don't know why that sucks after a while.
Well, the Echo isn't all that bad.
No, it's not
I've
terrible.
heard
I'm just
worse.
saying. Yeah, so Christmas Story. Christmas Story, I do not even have in my top 5. It's a classic, but you know what is? I mean, one, I'm burnt out on it. I mean, I love watching it. I throw it on and watch it all day long.
Well, and that's a problem with this list, and that's a problem with Christmas right now, is that we're all burnt out on it because these days, I think anytime something gets traction, we overdo it to death. That's part of the routine now. Things don't have an age span at all. It's like, oh, look, true crime got popular. Everybody do the same story all at once and overwhelm the market so that you're sick of it.
Well, that's a good segue to my number 2. My number 2 is A Christmas Chronicles, starring Kurt Russell.
Oh, that's right. I haven't seen that.
Have you seen it?
I can't really comment on it, but
man.
I know
every time I want to put it on, the kids are like, "Nah."
So good. So good.
Well, Mike, since I'm guessing that since 2 out of the 3 of us haven't seen it, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is?
I'm going to.
And when it came out.
Because you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to. It came out 2 years ago. So it came out in 2020. Christmas Chronicles 2 came out last year. Christmas Chronicles 2 still very good as well. But what's funny?
The fact that there's already a sequel?
Oh yeah, because it was so good. It was so popular. Oh yeah, it came out in 2020. Kurt Russell plays a very cool, very different Santa Claus. He's not fat and jolly. You know, he doesn't want to say ho ho ho, but you know, they kind of pry it out of him because he's like, I'm trying to change my image here, you know. But again, he's very he walks through a restaurant and he's guessing what everybody wants for Christmas. You know, like he needs a car, and he goes, "Hey, Michael, you know, you have your Porsche outside. You know what? I'll trade you a mint condition Mickey Mantle rookie card." He pulls out of his coat, and the guy starts flipping. He's like, "What?" And he takes it. And he's like, "Deal." And because people don't pick up on that he's Santa Claus, it's very clever and it's very fun, and there's kids in it, you know, and they help Santa save Christmas. But again, he plays a very cool Santa, and it's just again it's different.
Was somebody kidnapping it or killing it?
No, what happens is the kids they get into Santa's sleigh, and Santa crash lands, and he loses his reindeer, he loses his hat. You know,
do they die in some sort of bizarre reindeer fire?
No, Scott, they don't. It's a fucking Christmas movie. This isn't fucking Die Hard, all right? It's a Christmas movie, all right? Nobody dies in it. Nobody gets slaughtered or killed or mangled.
Well, we've already had a Winnie the Pooh Halloween massacre.
We've covered that, yeah. Or how about this? We've talked about the Grinch. How about
the reindeer died? Wasn't that in Scrooge?
That wasn't Scrooge. That's the Lee Majors movie that they show. There is a Grinch,
$6 million man.
There's a Grinch slasher movie coming out called The Mean One, where Cindy Lou Who returns to town. I think, did we watch the trailer for it last?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So Christmas Chronicles, I highly recommend it. It is my number 2 favorite Christmas movie, absolutely, because like I said, it's different, it's fun, it's cool.
I do like Kurt Russell.
Yeah, exactly. Kurt Russell's awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who else is in it besides him?
Nobody really known. The only other guy I recognized is he was one of the roommates on New Girl. And not Damon Wayans Jr. After he left, the guy that took his place. He's the only other guy I know. Steven Van Zandt is in it in like one scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But really there's no other, I mean, the kids in it aren't known. Yeah, no, there's really nobody else known in it. But it's yeah, like I said, it's very fun. I love it. I can't wait to watch it. Yeah, so that was my number 2. Seth, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is the first Home Alone.
First Home Alone.
Yep.
I mean, like I said, again, the Home Alones didn't make my top 5 because there's others that just stand out more to me. But Home Alone, man, takes me back forever. I remember getting it on VHS for my birthday, and we watched it while like there was a ton of family over. Home Alone is a staple of Christmas. Absolutely is.
And that's my older son's favorite because I polled him before we came on air. Didn't get a chance to ask my wife, which was a pity. But I can already tell you what hers was. But
yeah, I tell you, my wife is Elves. We watched it again. We've watched it twice. She's like, no, let's watch Elf. And the kid's like, I want to watch something else. Like, no, we're watching Elf. All right, put on Elf.
My wife doesn't like new Christmas movies, and I caught her watching Elf and laughing.
Pat is watching now. Pat, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to call you back. I did get your message. I'm horrible at making phone calls, but thank you for calling and thank you for listening. Pat chimed in. First Home Alone, love it. Yeah, first Home Alone. Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah, I mean, like we said, we've already kind of talked about it. It's funny. You suck. Thanks, Pat. I know I do. I'm sorry. There's plenty of people that call me and chime in, and I never call people back. I'm terrible at
Gosh,
it.
Well, yeah. Pat, why don't you just text some of our mutual friends and have them all join in and watch so we can wrap off the top ones. Although I'm going to suggest, why don't we do some of the honorable mentions while we build up to the number one favorite Christmas movie?
We will. We weren't really done talking about number 2 yet, but
I know.
Definitely going to get to the honorable mentions before number 1.
I'm giving Pat a reason to excitedly let me see if Wayne's available, or somebody else who might be asleep.
Hey, everybody, start watching
on a work night. My goodness.
So Home Alone. Again, you really can't. Somebody's always gonna have Home Alone on their list. It's an immediate Christmas movie, even though Die Hard is not. Home Alone absolutely is. They're not even comparable. Yeah, there's exactly. That's it. Home Alone's great. I get it. Not in my top 5, but Home Alone's great. So, all right, Scott, go ahead and mention your honorable mentions before we get to number 1 here.
All right. Well, which ones that you were criticizing because they were black and white?
I didn't say that.
Well, what was the implied intention?
I have never seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Wow.
I have seen the Beavis and Butthead special where they make fun of It's a Wonderful Life, and every other movie that here's what happens if you never lived, and every other movie that's ripped off A Wonderful Life, but I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, so here's I'll keep this as brief as I can, my little bit of backstory. As you know, I used to work at Walden Books back in the day when there were bookstores.
Yes.
And
no, I'm laughing at that. I assume that what is the fact that I have not seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
I have not, Pat.
Well, anyway,
maybe one day.
I worked during the year, and I don't remember which year it was, but it was in the 1980s, which was the first year that videos were out and got popular and inexpensive to buy. When video VHS tapes were first released in Betamax, the studios were petrified that if you had the chance to buy a movie, you'd never go to the theater again. And they would lose all the money they'd ever made because no one would ever go see a film again. So that most movies came out in the 1980s at $79.95 or $79.99.
Yeah, VHSs were expensive as hell.
And that was for Betamax, too. Remember, at one point, Betamax was the favored format to win.
Mm-hmm.
And so things were getting released both at the same time. Nobody knew. And well, in the years before Blockbuster and the bookstore that I was in, we sold it. We sold the very first film that came out as a Blockbuster Christmas movie was It's a Wonderful Life. And the reason it came out at a reasonable price was somebody forgot to renew the copyright. It fell into the public domain, and everybody in the world had their own little bootcase. Sony. Everyone in the world had their own little bootlegged version of it. So it was out at $9.99, brand new. And it was the very first time you could own a Christmas movie or a special. And that was an itch that nobody had realized that they really wanted to scratch for the holidays.
And something you watch continuously. Man, every Christmas I used to break out a
And
stack
that
of
Christmas,
Christmas specials.
we bought and stocked every single video we could get our hands on because anything we got at any price sold out. And we did get the musical that I mentioned at number 5, which was Scrooge, the musical, at $79.99 and sold them. People were screaming, "Why is it so expensive?" Like, they're all expensive except for these odd little ones.
Yeah.
That like I said, the It's a Wonderful Life. And the other things that came out around the same time were also just really old movies that had budgets because the copyrights weren't there. So Babes in Toyland, which you might know as March of the Wooden Soldiers, with Laurel and Hardy.
Yep.
Not really a Christmas movie, but Santa Claus is in it.
It sounds like a Christmas movie to me.
I remember it being played every year on television for whatever reason, and I enjoyed it. So that was another one we couldn't keep in stock. And by the end of the next 2 years, everything else had come out. What are you smiling at?
Nothing. I'm thinking. Thanks for getting through this as fast as possible.
Like this is fast. This is quite fast. Anyway, so Miracle on 34th Street. So now we're down to my my short list. Okay, the honorable mentions. Miracle on 34th Street. Yeah, it bombed when it came out, but you know what? It's a good movie. It's my wife's favorite, and I can see why she likes it.
Oh yeah,
it's got I'm trying to remember who's in it now. Fred, Edmund Gwynn, and John Payne, and Maureen O'Hara, and
what the fuck?
Oh, I don't know.
Someone's spamming our shit right now.
Yes. Anyway, and It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is a really long movie. It's a Christmas movie, but I'll tell you, even it came out in 1946, I think. Stars Jimmy Stewart. Yeah. You want the moon, Mary? Yeah. Let me just throw a lasso and I'll bring that moon in for you. And it's one of the lines from the movie. It's a very sweet film, but it got really bad reviews when it first came out because it's so sentimental. I mean, right now everybody's so nostalgic about it. Like, oh, that's what Christmas used to be back in the days when everybody loved all the Christmassy things. But even back then, they were like, "Whoa, this is too sweet. Are you kidding?" It's just after World War II has ended, and yeah, people might have wanted a return to normal life, but it is a little sappy.
Yeah.
There are really some scenes that really hold true. What are the name of the cops in It's a Wonderful Life? Seth, do you know?
I do not.
Their names are Bert and Ernie.
Oh.
Wow.
Schwa, okay. Yes. So anyway, there's some cultural tones in there.
Okay.
I've got a lot more, but yes.
That's okay.
Your turn. What do you have as honorable mentions?
All right. So I have Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Rudolph and Frosty. Pat asked about Christmas Vacation. Pat, Christmas Vacation.
Realize that, we've already talked about it.
Yeah, that was my number 4. It wasn't on anybody else's list. I haven't watched them up at Christmas Carol.
But it was on my honorable mention list.
One of my honorable mentions. I've only seen it once, but I really liked it. I think it came out last year. It's called 8-Bit Christmas. And it's got Neil Patrick Harris in it. I really liked it a lot. The ending very much makes it even better. But it was a lot of fun. It's a story about a kid trying to buy a Nintendo for Christmas. And it's just a whole plot of trying to. It's okay, Scott. Or Pat, you don't suck. Pat says, "Okay, I suck now. That's all right. You just late to the show. That's all right. As long as you're watching and listening, whatever, we appreciate it." 8-Bit Christmas. It was a lot of fun. Again, it's anything that's new and Christmas is.
Who was it in again?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else off the top of my head, and I don't
like him quite a lot.
But again, it's fun. The ending makes the whole movie. The ending is very heartwarming. And again, and it's just a fun and funny movie. And again, it's about Nintendo and a kid. We can all relate because that was when we were kids. And yeah, maybe not you so much, Scott, but well, I mean, again, Nintendo came out I had a ColecoVision was my first, console. So
well, I remember buying the Nintendos, not the original, but the later ones for my kids.
But yeah, so for your kids, yes. Okay. Well, again, that's another one I recommend. Like Christmas Chronicles. You haven't seen Christmas Chronicles, you have to see Christmas Chronicles. I recommend that you watch 8-Bit Christmas too.
Wow, you put that so nicely. A little bit better than I did. Very succinct.
Did you write down any honorable mentions, Seth?
Yes, I have the Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I guess we're considering it a special now, or
it has to pass somewhere as one of the best, because if I considered it a movie, it probably would be in my top 2.
Growing up, I had to have watched that 100 times.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I got the Grinch, the newer one, the cartoon that we talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also have. I liked it a lot. When my first son was born, and I've watched it a million times since, is Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, which is a special.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
And now there's a Twice Upon a Christmas and everything too. Yeah.
But the Once Upon a Christmas, I think, came out in '99. But first time I saw it was like 2014.
I was managing my own video store then, and yes, nice. I remember that was very popular and quite nice.
No, you weren't. No, Scott, you're thinking of a Mickey Christmas Carol.
No, there were two different specials.
No, once Mickey. What did you say?
There was a Mickey's Christmas Carol, and there was the one that Seth just mentioned.
Mickey Once Upon a
you weren't managing a video store when Once Upon a Christmas came out.
I was managing a Christmas video store in the year 1999.
Did you say 99? Or did you say 2000?
No, 99 is when it came out. First time I saw it.
And I also managed it in 2000.
Okay.
I managed a video store in 2000 until I left and went to ADP.
Okay.
And then the last one I got is
Hollywood Video. If we have any fans out there from Hollywood Video, like Jess Elliman?
I don't know. Maybe. So an honorable mention is Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Love Jingle All the Way.
Which I've seen. I've seen Jingle All the Way. I saw it once. I liked how Phil Hartman was in it.
Yep.
All right. Well, Scott, what's your? All right. So let's get to number one.
Oh, you're going to cut off Seth's Jingle All the Way?
We'll get the
Jingle. Very
polite.
We'll get the Jingle All the Way.
You were asking me what?
What's your number one?
Well, I still had more. Okay,
Scott. We got
my number one.
Out of you, man. Thanks. But okay, I think we got time for your number one now.
Okay. A Christmas Carol. AKA Scrooge, 1951, with Alistair Sim.
Okay, so now explain to me why is this one different than your number 5, which was A Christmas Carol, and now your number 1 is A Christmas Carol?
This is the best version of the Christmas Carol. Absolutely, hands down, the best version. It's the best realized, I think, from the original book. And it's expanded in ways that the book hints at but doesn't go into. And it's pretty much the touchstone performance. Alistair Sim is Scrooge. He's the one who goes, I have to stand on my head. I have to stand on my head. And with the maid who screams and throws her skirt up, or her apron up, so she doesn't have to watch this guy going insane on her. And he's the one chases her down the stairs, and you go like this. He puts some money in her palm. He's like, "This is for you. Do you know why?" He's like, "Just shut me up." He's like, "No, it's a Christmas present. Christmas present for me.
Buy me a goose."
It's really the best version, and it's long too, so it's more filling than some of the shorter ones. Even some of my honorable mentions, like Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, which is still one of the best. Whenever they reshowed that, they would cut out. It was a 90-minute cartoon, and they would try to fit it into 60 minutes with commercials. So you lost one of the ghosts, for instance.
Oh, really? Oh my God! How could you do
Yeah.
that? It's crazy.
Well, Channel 9 used to do that. And you'd be wondering, like, one year you'd lose the Ghost of Christmas Past, the next year you'd move, the Ghost of Christmas Present or Yet to Come. I can't remember which, but
defeats the whole purpose
terrible,
of the story.
terrible.
You got to have all three ghosts.
Anyway, this is a favorite. This was the best version ever. And they've colorized it. You don't have to watch it in black and white. And
there's been so many versions, so it's to say that that's like the best
this
version
is the touchstone. The performance by Alistair Sim, I think everybody will back me up on, makes it better than everybody else. Even George C. Scott was good, but he wasn't great. Patrick Stewart, good, but not great at it.
Has anyone seen the CGI Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey playing Ebenezer Scrooge?
Yes.
I have not seen it.
Yeah.
It was 3D. And if you watch it on a non-3D version or copy of it, you can tell exactly where it's 3D. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't great.
All right. So my number one, I have not seen it.
Oh.
I was just that's why I was asking if you guys
had.
So
you're number one. Mine is right, but continue.
My number one is Jingle All the Way.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I feel so awful. I'm sorry.
So awful. Okay.
Well, I laughed at it. That's why I feel awful.
You feel awful because you laughed at it.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. I thought you were laughing.
So sorry.
I thought you said you were laughing because
that's your favorite?
Because my pick was awful. That is my favorite.
Schwarzenegger. Okay.
I taped it off TV, I believe, a long time ago. I watched it every Christmas. And you know what? It has to do with a kid getting that special toy. Most importantly for me, it had to do with a superhero.
All right.
Superhero. Obviously, I'm a big comic book fan. I thought a superhero aspect of it was awesome. The fact that he gets to wear the Turbo Man costume at the end, and actually, it almost made it make sense that it had the actual Turbo Man stuff in it. And the movie was awesome. Arnold Schwarzenegger's great in it. It's funny as hell. Sinbad's funny in it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Sinbad was in it.
Yeah, there's so much hilarious stuff in it. Yeah, everything's great. Oh, plus it's got the Giant. It's got Paul White in it, the Big Show. So it has a wrestler in it on top of it having a superhero in it. It was right up my alley. I absolutely love Jingle All the Way. It's my favorite Christmas movie because it just hits so many points for me. And then at the end, it's funny now because I probably get emotional about it now more than ever. When he takes off his helmet and reveals that he's the dad after all this time, and the kids yelling, "That's my dad!" As they're carrying him around.
What year did it come out?
I want to say 99. Very tragic story is that kid, I believe, is dead.
Oh, real nice.
Yeah. I know he's a criminal. He's got a mugshot out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if he's dead. Jingle All the Way came out in 1996.
96. Okay.
96. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Phil Hartman in it is hilarious. Yeah.
Yes. I was mentioning that before. I remember just how much I enjoyed watching him trying to do his moves on.
Yeah. Jake Lloyd. Let's see. Years active. Oh, no. He's still alive. He's 33.
That's Arnold's son, right?
No, that plays the son in the movie. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I think maybe he straightened himself out. Let's see here.
Well, you've resurrected somebody, so I guess that's
let's see. Personal life. Okay, it looks like he's okay. So
we've had a Christmas miracle here, folks.
2016. 2016, after being held for 10 months awaiting trial in Colleton County Detention Center, Lloyd was transferred from jail to a psychiatric facility due to his schizophrenia diagnosis.
Oh, that is serious.
In January of 2020, his family issued a statement saying that he has moved closer to his family and has officially been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. So, okay, he's still alive, thank goodness. And he did run into some legal trouble, everything like that. Glad to see he's doing much better. Let me see. Let me go back to this again from his Wikipedia page. So take it for what it is.
Well, with a mental illness like that, it doesn't really matter.
Let's see. Yeah, in June, let's see, March, police responded to an alleged assault by Lloyd on his mother in 2015. And in June of 2015, Lloyd was arrested in South Carolina under the name Jake Broadbent for reckless driving, driving without a license, and resisting arrest. No, it doesn't sound like anything, overly serious. He didn't kill anybody or not drugs, but
he didn't kill anyone. He'd still be in jail if he killed someone.
Yeah.
Normally, when you hear about kid actors, it's normally drugs when you hear about something really awful.
Absolutely.
So,
yep. Yeah, no, so there you go. I think absolutely my number one. And there is a director's cut out there, which sometimes you catch that and you're like, holy shit, look at all these new scenes I had no idea about. Like when Sinbad is describing his gun that he did not get for Christmas, that scene is more like the Johnny something, 7 guns in one. As he's explaining all the guns, he actually explains all 7 guns in this one gun, and it's like a little mini commercial, and they cut that out of the original movie, and you're like, oh wow, that's interesting, that's funny.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah, and that's when they have him when he's like, here's to you, Dad, and he takes this swig of fucking booze, and he's like, ugh, this little kid. It was funny. But yeah, Jingle All the Way for me.
My apologies, Mike.
For what?
I thought you'd picked it for some silly reasons, but you've made it the most personal choice.
Well, yeah, obviously there's a reason why it's my number one.
And I respect that.
Well, thank you.
That's an excellent reason. Mine, I just remember enjoying how much I watched that movie before it was released on videotape.
Now, where did you see it?
Watch things
just on TV?
Just on TV. When I was a kid, and they didn't have videotape back then, or you could only watch it around Christmas once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to scour the newspaper to see when, or the TV guide, to see when all your favorite specials were going to be on. You missed it, out of luck till the next year.
Mm-hmm. Like the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, exactly like that.
So
Chitty Bang Bang, or all the other things that came around just that once around the holidays, actually.
So Seth, we've already talked about this pretty much. You're number one, so you can go ahead and say it. But I know what it is. The Santa Claus starring Tim Allen is your number one. I knew that because we've had this conversation before. I get it. Like I said, it's funny. Not even in my top 5, but it's not like I don't like it. It's just it doesn't stand out so much to me because I like the ones that, for me, it was the ones that have so much more going on than just Christmas. Like the focus is Christmas. Well, I don't know. I guess that's
there's a lot going on. You got a divorced couple and custody battle,
and you even have the little callback to Tim the Toolman Taylor with this is why a really good fire extinguisher comes in handy.
Yeah.
Oh, remember and there's another guy there with a bandage around his arm.
There's even a part in where I'm pretty sure he goes like ho 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 or something in it when they talk. Is it the cookie dispenser or something? He definitely does a Tool Man reference in there
from Home Improvement.
Yep.
And that was like at the peak of that show too. When this movie
he was a huge star when that movie came out.
Mm-hmm. And what else was there was just the fact that it started off with a big Christmas scene, right? Santa Claus dies, and then you go off to non-Christmas stuff. Well, it builds up throughout the year to the next holiday season.
Well, see, I think
thought that was a nice, sweet.
Almost doesn't have any non-Christmas stuff because it's always about him becoming Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So there's always the Christmas buildup in it.
Yeah, like he goes to see the doctor.
Yeah.
His heartbeat is playing Jingle Bells.
Drink the milk.
Yeah. You call this a little wait?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes to Denny's and the burnt the turkey and the guy's got the bandages around his hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what you're talking about, Scott. Yeah. It's Christmas. Yeah, it's very good. Now, I mean, clearly you don't think so. You don't think that the sequels diminish it at all?
No, you know what? Sometimes I don't. I'll make fun of a sequel standalone, but I don't ever hold it against the.
I feel that way too.
You know, if I
Well,
love a
did you
original,
watch Saturday Night Live this past week?
No, with Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Yes.
No, I did not.
And they eulogize each other at the beginning during their. And one of the things Steve Martin's mentioned is, not mentioning about the awful, awful movies in Martin Short's career, and he singles out Santa Claus 3.
Yep, where he plays Jack Frost, which again, not overly awful. I mean, it's but again, they got a little wacky. They got a little sci-fi. Definitely got a little to be a little much.
Now on Disney Plus, they do have the Santa Claus collection. Isn't there a new Santa Claus?
There's a Santa Claus's show. It's called the Santa Clauses. I have not watched it.
I have not either.
I heard that the first episode kind of spoils the magic of Santa Claus for your children.
Wow.
I can't.
Well,
I
asked
a couple
people. I asked a couple people about that because obviously you told me that.
Yeah,
and they said no. It's more or less like people not believing in Santa Claus, like acting.
Okay.
And then, throughout it, they're making you believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's what I don't get that either. Because Santa Claus is a character in the show. How can you think that Santa Claus is not real?
But no. Like people in the show, like how like Neil in the first Santa Claus doesn't think Santa's real.
Yeah,
like that.
But yeah, exactly. But Santa Claus is in the show, so like Neil's the one that's wrong.
Well, yes, but there, I don't know what city they live in, but I think there's other people that probably still don't believe in Santa.
Yeah, and when we were watching Elf yesterday, they mentioned that Papa Elf mentions that people don't believe in Santa, and he's like, well, who do they Buddy says, well, who do they think brings all the presents?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, there's a rumor that the parents do it. He's like, the parents couldn't do that all in one night. So it's like it already hints at the idea of it. But I'm like, my kids are watching this, and my kids aren't second guessing for a second that there's no Santa Claus.
Right.
So I mean, I almost
because they know that some people think there is, some people don't think there is.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I watched where when it was over, maybe it was Elf. When it's over, I'm like, I wish Santa Claus was real.
Oh yeah.
After watching this, it's so bad. You want to believe in that kind of good shit. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So the Santa Claus's TV show. Now, something that I know Tim Allen was on. He was on a talk show and he covered about how come. Take care, Pat. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for supporting. Have a good night, man.
Yeah, thanks.
So, yeah, and he talked about how the idea of like when he shows up in the North Pole, nobody's ever like, what happened to the last Santa? Nobody questions for a second. Like, wait, who are you? What happened to the last Santa? Exactly. I mean, when you watch it, you just kind of think like, all right, they know what's up, and this is routine, and there's no emotional connection to that Santa. Clearly,
every few years this happens.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I like the way in the first movie that the closer he gets to Christmas and on Christmas itself, he keeps looking more and more like Santa.
Mm-hmm.
To the fact that when he's marching out and they do the ZZ Top thing, which and his eyebrows are sticking up, which is
he's got sunglasses on.
Well, even before the sunglasses, when the eyebrows are all sticking up and going Toto Gibio, or Topo Gibio, and doing his little Ed Sullivan thing.
He's explaining to the cops all his different names.
Yeah.
The look there with the eyebrows like that is very 1870s. That's a very specific look, like from the original illustrations that were done by Thomas Nast, who was a prolific illustrator for Harper's Weekly back in the day.
That's interesting. Chock full of knowledge you are, Scotty. Because I didn't know that. I would have never guessed it either. But
no shot.
It's
interesting little tidbit.
If you look it up, I'll bet you they mentioned something about that. It's just that that was one of the specific looks, an Easter egg for people who are into the history of Christmas.
I could see that.
I love A Christmas Carol, for instance. I used to read the story every single year. It's just the right length to read in a night.
Mm-hmm.
It's only about 90 pages long without getting too small of the print. It's the perfect size book. And for a while, I was collecting every single version of specials about it that I could. And that's how I came to like some of them. And the American Christmas Carol, which was going to be one of my honorable mentions, because you already mentioned that I was the only one who put that there. Yes, that was with Henry Winkler. It came out in the 1970s.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
It's the American Christmas Carol is set during the Depression. Hence, that's what makes it American. And so during the Depression, Scrooge plays somebody, who isn't bankrupt. He's somebody who starts selling things on time. So when the Depression happens, he still has money. Everybody else owes him money because they bought all this stuff on credit and they have to pay him back, which was a thing that came around that same time. It's actually historically pretty accurate. And what's the matter with Tiny Tim? He's got polio.
He's got polio,
which is the disease of the 1930s. That's the best example of what would make somebody crippled is polio. Oh my God. And in this one, it even ramps it up a little bit because Scrooge can, the person who plays Bob Cratchit, the rest of the people around town, like, talk to him. And he's like, well, Mr. Scrooge, the townspeople here who all owe you money really think maybe they could pay you back if we reopen the mine. Was it a mine that they were trying to reopen? It was something that got enclosed. And so I see you're on their side. Why don't you just join their ranks because you're fired? So he fires Bob Cratchit. Cratchit goes home and he's trying to tell his wife that he's been fired, and the kids pick up on it real fast. They're like, oh, Daddy doesn't have a job anymore. And they're like, no, that means I'm going to be the new ringleader of the circus. And then the girl just says, like, does that mean we're going to starve to death? And it just, oh my God, it's just so sad. And Henry Winkler just, he has too much fun with it.
I got a lot.
He has a hard time trying not to smile.
I got a lot of Christmas Carol to catch up on. Got about 5 new Christmas Carol movies that you've recommended to watch now.
And it's one of the only Christmas carols that have people of color in it.
That's interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they use the radio, which is the means of communication during the 1930s, to communicate past, present, and future. So because it's filmed in the 70s, past they're like, World War I has started and, the stock market's crashed. And Scrooge is like, again?
Similar to how?
Going into the past. But when it goes to the future, it goes into like funk music.
Similar to how Scrooge uses television.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Huh. How about I just had to give that one a little bit of a bump.
Interesting.
Because that was one of my favorites. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I just like that.
Well, I think we have covered quite the range of Christmas movies.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the one constant, though, across the board was Elf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot about Elf.
Oh, yeah.
I think too. It was unlikely, but it
was very funny. In the same spot for all of us, too. Yeah, Elf is just like a go-to. Yeah, for sure. Very funny.
Has anybody watched Spirited?
No, I have not.
No.
Another take on A Christmas Carol.
Yes, and that's why I'm surprised I haven't watched it yet. My wife was interested in watching it.
Yeah.
And so...
And another one, too, that we love to talk about is The Rock. The Rock is currently filming a Christmas movie.
Yeah, what is it, the Red One or
Red
something?
One with Chris Evans and J.K. Simmons plays Santa Claus. Yeah, I feel like it's a kind of deal where like Santa Claus gets kidnapped and The Rock is like in charge of bringing
I
him
saw
home.
like a screenshot of it. I think from his IG. He's in
So
some
that's supposed to come out this
stupid
coming
ghetto.
Christmas season?
I don't think so. It's got to be next year because
Well,
they're
that's what I
showing
meant.
like pictures from the set.
Yeah.
I mean, this coming Christmas year would be the next 2 weeks. So
Yeah, I
yes,
know.
Yeah. No, it'll be out already.
Exactly.
I meant the
yeah.
next
I
year.
guess he's just teasing it now for
unless
next
it's
year.
going to come out in like June or July.
Yeah. By the way, here's this
along with
movie we
Die
haven't
Hard.
promoted and it's out. Yeah. Yeah. See now, I mean, Christmas
And
movies
and
can
so
come out.
notice I didn't have Die Hard anywhere on my list. So I
we
don't
went
know
off-
why you were arguing
so-
about it so much.
That's what I said. So we went off on you for nothing. But now again, do you feel like it's a Christmas movie?
No.
You
I
okay? They what
but
the hell?
I thought I could have more fun if I pretended
He was playing
that
Okay,
yeah, devil's advocate
gotcha.
because you're so easy to get.
All right, yeah, but all right, yeah. So exactly, it is not. I definitely feel
Now
like
we need
Dave,
to rank the Rankin Bass specials.
the what?
Rankin Bass specials. Rudolph, Santa Claus Coming to Town, Rudolph. No, the Frosty the Snowman.
Is Frosty
and Year
fall
Without a
into that.
Santa Claus. I think we forgot Mr. Heat Miser and Mr. Cold Miser.
Frosty doesn't fall in those lines. Frosty's not one of those stop motion movies. Frosty was just an animated movie.
Yes, but it was Rankin and Bass. So
Was
the
it?
same company that made the rest did this one. Yeah. Even the
okay.
same formula where you have somebody famous doing the voice of the narrator. And in that case, it was Jimmy Durante.
Yeah.
You know,
I have only seen Rudolph. I have not seen any of those other ones.
Frosty, I got tired of.
I mean, other than Frosty, I've seen Frosty a shitload of times.
Did you ever see Rudolph's Shiny New Year?
No, I haven't seen. I think I've seen the next Frosty sequel, and then I've seen Rudolph, and I haven't seen any because there's like 4 Frosty movies.
Wow.
There's like the
Did
second
you ever
one.
watch Jack Frost with Michael Keaton? How does he live that down? You never saw it?
Oh, no. Oh yeah, no. Where he like turns into a snowman. No.
Yeah.
There's also a horror movie called Jack Frost with a killer snowman in it.
That's right, there is. I remembered that. But the one where he plays the musician who dies becomes a snowman.
Yeah, I listened to the How Did This Get Made podcast where they covered that movie and it was pretty funny. The new Christmas movie that came out this year, Violent Night, starring David Harbour from Stranger Things, where he plays like a Santa Claus that saves the day by kicking the shit out of a lot of criminals. That's getting like rave reviews. Everybody's like, this movie is exactly what I wanted it to be. It is awesome. It is violent. It looks great.
Well, is it a horror film or just an unlikely action movie?
It's an unlikely action movie. It's
then
like, you know what
more
is
inclined to watch it.
It's
because the horror movies I've seen done to death.
Yeah, no, it's not a horror movie. It's an action movie. And I keep thinking too, like, if Santa Claus, if it wasn't John McClane and it was Santa Claus, it would be a Christmas movie. It's Santa Claus. And that's kind of like this movie, but I think this movie even has a lot more Christmas in it than Die Hard. Sure, there's tons of guns and action, but it's Santa Claus.
Well, if you got Santa Claus, I mean, he's normally not in Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Just saying. Although there is an exception where Santa Claus does show up in a non-Christmas movie.
I know exactly what you're gonna say. You're gonna talk about Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
No.
Oh, okay. Then I
didn't even think of that, and I didn't even want to talk about that. I've seen it once.
I've seen it once,
and it was like Pia Sadora's in that.
Okay, she's one of the little aliens.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I only know the name of Pia Sadora
Nightmare Before Christmas
because they mention it in not Die Hard. They mentioned it in Naked Gun 33 1/3. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
When Santa Claus is in there, but it's not a Christmas movie.
See, some people let it fall. See, some people
think
it can go either way.
I know. I also saw Edward Scissorhands listed as a Christmas movie, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, there's nothing about Edward Scissorhands at all that's Christmas except snow.
Yeah. I was gonna say it snows.
It. Yeah. The Nightmare Before Christmas, when I first saw it, I didn't like it because I didn't get it. I felt bad for these kids being attacked by their presents. I'm like, this is not. When I was a kid, I was like, this is not fun for me. I feel bad for these children. Yeah. So it's not. I mean, again, watching it again now, like my kids love The Nightmare Before Christmas, so like I like it, but yeah, it's not up there for me. That's it. But some people fucking live and die by it. So I don't know. Good for them. But I'll watch it and I enjoy it now. But when as a kid myself, I couldn't understand the irony of enjoying I mean, sure, Santa saves the day, but I don't know. It just, yeah, couldn't get into it. So I think that about covers it. We very much filled up our usual amount of time just by talking about Christmas movies. So
don't forget Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
Yeah. So if you've been listening, you have a list as long as my arm of Christmas movies to watch if you haven't seen them. So we all have homework. We all have Christmas movies to watch. Maybe I'll go upstairs and watch Christmas Chronicles because it's that good. So
and yes, any other Christmas movies to watch? Anything else that's new this season besides Spirited?
No.
That should be a watch.
No. It's Violent Night.
Yeah.
That's it. Violent Night is it.
Violent Night.
Yep. Gosh. Everything else. Yeah, I don't think there's any more. Klaus, apparently. I think it's pronounced Klaus.
That came out in 2019, didn't it?
Yeah, Academy Award-winning animated movie on Netflix about.
Is it good?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
I think my kids watched it, but I never watched the whole thing. About like the origin of Santa Claus. Yeah, apparently good. Yeah, look at me. Yeah, it's got the animation style. Not of almost the animation style of Into the Spider-Verse, but not as flashy and bright colors. That kind of wacky looking animation. But yeah.
Well, here's a question: have either of you watched the It's a Charlie Brown Christmas?
Yeah,
of course.
Which is like the original one, because that didn't really make any of our lists.
No,
whereas it used to be the most popular one back in the day.
Yeah, and I like it, but it's not up there for me.
Yeah, it doesn't excite me.
Yeah, no.
It is kind of depressing.
That's the deal too. Yeah, well, as much as I like the Peanuts, you never watch a Peanuts to just feel great about it. All the kids talk all monotone and stuff like that. I mean, well, again,
that is real kid actors though, and that's more or less how they talk.
I had the Thanksgiving special on tape that I used to watch all the time. I used to love that.
Was that the one with the toast and popcorn?
Yes.
Yes.
And Peppermint Patty starts going off about like what the fuck is this shit, Chuck? Where's the cream corn and mashed potatoes? Where's the cranberry sauce? What the fuck, Charlie Brown?
I do like the Charlie Brown Christmas. It has its place.
A Flintstones Christmas.
Was one of the only ones that actually has the Christmas message as part of the Christmas. And Schultz insisted that Linus actually quote from the scriptures.
Oh yeah,
in there, or he would have it pulled.
Which he mumbles, lights, please. Shut down. Yeah, okay.
Life, please.
No, Linus asked to turn the lights down. Lights, please. With his little fucking voice.
Oh,
yeah, not up there for me.
Remember that part?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how he says. That's when he starts quoting everything.
Well, anyway, I'm just mentioning it because I believe that was the original Christmas special. I think it predates everything else that was made for television as a special.
I could see that.
And so,
interesting.
And it still looks better animated than most of the new stuff that comes out. Even with all the 3D stuff and all of the
everything's got. Its
own we didn't even mention now. Polar Express with the dead eyes of Tom Hanks,
which is not bad.
And
the book is like
the hot chocolate song.
Yeah. The book is like the book covers like not even a quarter of that movie. That's how drawn out that movie is. Yeah. But it's fun and it's interesting.
The book is fantastic.
Yeah. Artwork in the book is great. The movie looks just like the book. But yeah, I mean, again, not one of my favorites. It's fun and it's cool. My kids like it, but not one of my favorites.
I'm sorry to keep dragging this out. So
that's all right. There's so many to talk about, but thankfully we covered the ones we needed to. I'm glad we did our top 5 instead of a tournament. A tournament would have been, I don't know. I don't think it would have worked out as good.
Well, I think we just structured the tournament. So it was a tournament. We just structured it as a top 5.
Kind of.
I think it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was a lot of fun. Could talk about this stuff all day.
So you're going to watch now the 1951 Christmas Carol, which I guess you've never seen?
Yeah, sure.
Well, just watch the performance of the guy who plays Scrooge.
I'll try to track it down. You watch Christmas Chronicles.
Okay, that's fair enough. Do you happen to know where that's streaming?
Netflix. It's a Netflix movie.
Yeah, no, I want to see it. So
you absolutely should watch it, man. It was great. And again, it's on Netflix, so it's easy to get to. Yeah, very, very highly recommended. Love it. Okay. And 8-Bit Christmas. Give 8-Bit Christmas a chance too.
Where's that?
HBO maybe. I don't know.
I don't remember. I saw it.
Yeah, I think I streamed. I think I ripped it off somewhere. But yeah, it's out there. So, alrighty, I think that that might do it for us tonight. So Seth, you got anything to plug?
Nope.
All right. Scott, I don't know how much time we got, but if you want to plug your stuff.
Oh, I see. You just expected me to just keep going on and on and on and on. Well,
when
I am in
I know you
a
have
podcast
episode. I know you have 100 things to plug, is what I'm getting.
No, I don't. I am in a holiday special podcast, the audio drama Madison on the Air, which is about superheroes. Did you listen to it yet?
I listened to you, and I'm going to give you some feedback. You were not as over the top as everyone else. You played it good, like you played it straight. You know, like it was an acting role. Everyone else was a little too goofy.
I don't know. I know the woman who did the voice of Broomhilda in the Wonder Woman segment, and I thought she was fantastic. Did you listen to that part?
I don't think so. I think I just maybe
you had to listen to the second half.
Maybe
the first half was.
Maybe I just skipped to your parts where you got bonked on the head, and
I wasn't really.
Batman and Robin had to save you. I listened to that part, and it was fun. But yeah, like I said, they're a little too
listen to the whole thing. Anyway,
top.
It's Madison on the Air, episode number 26. And so I'm in that. And that is a holiday episode, and it's got superheroes. So I meet Batman.
Very cool.
I know, right? Huh? Did you get to meet Batman? I don't think so.
I mean, if you count bumping into guys at Comic-Con, sure.
And so that's what I've got going on right now. I just finished recording the basic audio for the audiobook I'm working on. And which is what gave me the freedom to be able to do this tonight, awesome. Which I've been looking forward to all week. But thank you for letting us do this before Christmas, Mike.
No problem. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you so much. And the only other thing I was going to mention was the podcast that I mentioned before called We Got This. They're the ones who did the other Christmas episodes, some of which I was able to catch up with. And that's with Hal Lublin and Hal Lublin and Mark Gagliardi on the Maximum Fun Network.
All right.
And I think that's about everything.
Yeah.
That's
so you can
going on right now.
You still have so much more that you can plug. Lennon the Mobster and the Mob, or the Lawyer and the Mob, and
Lennon the Mobster and the Lawyer by Jay Bergen.
Yes, available on Audible right now.
Available on Audible as well as iTunes as an audiobook. And Mr. Bergen will be a guest of honor at the next Beatlefest, or Fans for Beatlefest.
Are you going to be there? Do you have a table?
I will be there too.
Do you have a table to sign autographs?
Would be very surprised if anybody asked me to sign anything, since there's no physical copy of the audiobook.
That's true. Maybe
I will be signing copies of the artwork if anybody asks me.
There you go. Print out some 8x10s.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So you can.
Nobody ever.
I don't know. You don't know, man. These people are nuts about stuff like that. So anyway, you can follow me.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
No, I say go for it.
Can we follow you, Mike?
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram at Mike Spear Jr. or on Twitter at Mike Spear Jr. And I have one of those linker.bio things in my bio. Click on that. All my shit's in there. I'm on every social media platform. The Pop Quiz Apparel Etsy page is in there. There's a link to buy Championship Wrestling League #1. That's in there. That's almost completed. I need to get a little less than half of it colored. And then I can letter it. Then issue 2 will be available digitally. That's coming soon. So yeah, so go there and follow me. Otherwise, instead of plugging everything, if you're watching instead of listening, you can see the little ticker across the bottom where you can buy Mind Your From Business merchandise. You can buy Cube Nerds merchandise, which Scott just took over the last episode on his own, which has the most views in like 2 weeks than any other video on the Spear Studios YouTube page. So if you go to tpublic.com/stores/spear-studios, that's Spear SPEER. There's CWL shirts, Cube Nerd shirts, Mind Your Business shirts. Plus, TeePublic just has a lot of other awesome shirts, and they're like $14. I don't know where the hell you can get a T-shirt for $14 anymore. And you can get sweaters and baseball
Spear
shirts.
Studios is great. They take great care of you. I mean, you should see the lobby when you walk in. Oh my God, Mike! It just astonishes me every time I go in there to use the studio for recording the audiobooks. It's just the new lobby. Love it.
Maybe one day, Scott. Maybe one day. Let's
get
some more.
I shared my web address on the comments link there.
There you go. McKinleyCode.com. Oh, how could you forget that? That's everything. Social media is what you plug.
Why don't you pop that up so people can actually read it?
There you go.
Is there a way to do that?
Yes, there is. How did you add that under Spear Studios?
I don't know. It just I had it under all.
Oh, you just commented on it here. Oh, yeah. Because I gave you all the access to run Cube Nerds on your own if you wanted to. So there you go. McKinleyCode.com is where you can find everything Scott McKinley. Scott R. McKinley.
As I'm suitably well, there are other Scott McKinleys. As a matter of fact, there's another one on IMDb that's just Scott McKinley, an actor. So I'm glad because on IMDb, yes, I'm on IMDb, I have my own listing under Scott R. McKinley.
Alrighty then.
Not that there's any real thing on there yet. Besides
that,
right. I'm
very
thrilled.
All right, gents. Anything else to touch upon?
That is it.
All right.
Thanks,
Fantastic.
guys.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun.
All right. Thank you, folks, for listening, watching, commenting.
Yep. Like and subscribe.
That's what I was going to say. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe, and like and comment and all that other stuff that you hear every single other show and podcast tell you to do, because it actually makes a difference and it's nice motivation for us to keep doing it and stuff. So
give us a 5-star review on on
YouTube,
on
Anchor,
iTunes.
Spotify, iTunes, every place you can listen to podcasts is where you'll find this. Probably tomorrow morning. So all righty. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
We will talk again next week.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you very much.
All right. Bye, guys.
Take
Bye.
care.
Be seeing you.